Hello and welcome back to the Double DSQ of Formula One podcast. We are your hosts, Hayden and Robin. I am Robin, you are Hayden. And this week was the Austrian Grand Prix, which was very, very eventful. And I was very
Mm.
stressed for the entire duration of said Grand Prix, because it did not go well for Ferrari. But we will
Ugh.
get into that when we talk about the race. Before that, however, we do have our brain worms. You can find me at Twitter, TikTok, and now Instagram because TikTok hates me, so I'm kind of not really using that, but I haven't got rid of the account. At Forza Rebellion. All the same username, but yeah, I made a new Instagram account because why not? Thank you.
Very true.
Mine is probably when I went to go see Disclosure Day, the new Steven Spielberg film on Thursday with my stepmom, because I was going anyway, and then she was like, I want to go see it. So I was like, come with me and it can be fun. And I don't have to get the bus and I can save money. Um, but yeah, I couldn't have predicted a single thing that happened in that film. Like I went into it knowing like that it was about aliens. That was it. And I highly recommend that if you watch this film, you go in completely blind because it was so funny and it was so good. And obviously, it's Steven Spielberg. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be shot great. And the music also John Williams,
Ugh.
my goat. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be good. But yeah, I couldn't have predicted a single thing that happened, and I had multiple what the moments. Um, it was great. So yeah, that's my brain run of the week, I think. What's yours?
Hi, everybody. I'm Hayden. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on on TikTok at Hayden's.hyperfixations and on Twitter and Instagram at MCUITD. I have to fix Instagram.
You
I don't
say
know.
this
I
every episode.
know. And my brain room of the week is our friend of the pod, Bells. Her Guesped Piastri art that she made.
Yeah.
She made the the art piece that she posted on Twitter,
Yeah.
the helmet, I believe it was, and it got a lot of attention
I
from
did.
from hashtag Piastri Hive, as it should. I absolutely adore Belle. I adore her
I love
art
her.
style.
Hmm.
Um, and she is gonna finish that Monaco print. I am begging her for a print of it. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. I keep mentioning it to her.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
she is an incredibly talented artist. If
Yeah.
you guys may have actually seen her work already. She did work with V-Carb for the
Yes.
Japanese Grand Prix,
Yep.
doing the poster
Hmm.
for the Suzuka livery with the cherry blossom
Yeah.
flavored Red Bull, or yeah, Red Bull. It was amazing. I truly love her art so much. We've been friends for quite a few years now. It is really nice to see teams relying on actual artists to make things,
Mm.
especially such a talented artist like Belle. I hope that Team OP81 collaborates with her on something,
Yes.
because I think I will literally lose my mind. For
Hmm.
context, she has also done comic book covers
Yeah.
for Star Wars, for Disney, for Lucasfilm, and most recently, freaking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Incredibly talented, wonderful person. I miss her very dearly. I haven't seen her in almost 3 years now,
Mm.
but I hope that her Guesped Piastri slash helmet slash art um gets her the attention she deserves.
Yeah, the logo that she designed with the 81 in the wasp
Incredible.
inspired. Like I saw that and my jaw
She,
genuinely dropped.
her brain, her mind.
Yes. Incredible. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that brain one.
I know one piece of news.
Oh yeah.
Max Verstappen is not going to McLaren. I hate to tell everybody, it's not happening. Zach Brown was asked about it, and he was like, "Oh, if either one of them decides to leave, he's a multiple world champion. He's not leaving Red Bull. If anybody leaves, it is going to be because they got caught. They're pretty confident with their lineup right now. I think they're the strongest on the grid, and I
Mm.
think either this year or next year they're going to be the longest teammate pairing ever. I'm not sure if it's in Formula One, but definitely McLaren history.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know where all that's coming from.
No, Zach also said today on Sky when he was talking to Ted in the when they're on the
Gridwalk.
grid. Yeah, the grid
Yeah.
walk, that's it. Um, that they were all very happy with like
Yeah.
the team in McLaren. He was like, they're not going anywhere. I don't know why
Oh,
people keep thinking they're gonna leave, but they're not going anywhere.
I guess that reminded me that one other piece of news that happened is that George signed a contract extension, which I guess
Oh,
is
did it?
where all
Oh,
that,
yes, he did.
yeah.
I did see
I,
that
I can't
briefly, yeah.
remember if it was 1 year or two, or if it was like a continually ongoing thing, but he did sign a contract extension, which I think that's what prompted the where's Max gonna go? Not to McLaren. I'm gonna
Right.
tell you that right now.
Yeah, he's not leaving, especially after today. Bro's not going anywhere.
No, no. I
No.
think, well, I guess that segues us perfectly into the actual race recap point of
Yeah.
our podcast. What a race it was. So qualifying, I will not lie, I did not watch because I was doing some shopping. But from what I know, I watched different clips of it back and
Hmm.
forth. But George Russell was on pole. My prediction was correct.
Yep.
Um,
Mine
and
was not. Mine really was not.
it was not. Um, but George got pole yesterday, and then it
Hmm.
was it was George, Charles, Lewis Kimmy, Max, Lando Oscar, and then I think the V carbs. Maybe Isaac Hadjar was somewhere in there.
Isaac was after Oscar, and then it was the V Cubs.
V carbs, okay.
It was Liam, then Arvid.
Also, speaking of V carbs, and I guess this is jumping forward to the actual outcome of the race today, I was very impressed with the V carbs today.
I've been very impressed with them because they've scored points, spoiler alert, for the last three races. They did not have a great year last year. Um,
They had some highs, but their lows were very low.
yes, exactly. Whereas they've been very, very, very consistent this year, which is very important for midfield.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the highs and lows, whatever, like they've had great results. I mean, Arvid's debut in
Points
Australia
on debut.
was just
Crazy.
incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, having scored points in the last three races, you can tell obviously Liam is comfortable. He's been comfortable. He's been in the sport for a couple years now. Arvid is getting there. You can see it from the fact that they have scored points. Yes, it's been minimal points, but it's points,
Mm-hmm.
which is important for the last three races, which you can see that they're definitely in the groove with it, and the car is working towards them. I mean, Liam went P4 at one point in qualifying,
Yeah. I saw
which
that.
was a very much Polar Bear in Arlington, Texas moment.
Yeah.
But they have done very, 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 very well, and I do love VCarb. I do really enjoy watching them do well.
Mm-hmm.
They, I love Arvid, and Liam is m moving me, and like they are like, I love Arvid. Just he's great. He's very British, and it's so funny when that comes
Yeah.
out. It's so funny. Um, but obviously
I
I am biased to all of my British boys. But
That's
yeah,
true.
Liam is also moving me. So I enjoy when they do well.
I think to
Um.
your point about consistency, I think when we're taking another midfield team like Haas, unfortunately, who they started off the year very, very well. Ollie
Yes.
was like consistently in the points.
Hmm.
Esteban was he was not having a great time. He outplaced Ollie today, but I don't think he scored points this season. Maybe he's had like one.
I
I
think he's
think
had
maybe a
one
stray
race where he
one.
scored.
Maybe it was Japan. I
Might
think it
have
was
been.
Japan.
But yeah,
Um,
until like Miami, I think they were
yeah.
doing
They were doing
well.
really, really
Yeah,
well.
they were doing
Like
really
Ollie was
well.
consistently getting into Q2. I think he even was either knocking on the door or got through to Q3 once. Don't quote me on that, but I
He
feel
got
like I
through to
remember
Q3
seeing that.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know the if it's the upgrades, if it's the Ferrari engine upgrades that get put like passed down from as part of the customer team agreement,
Yeah.
but they just have not been going well the past
The car
few.
hasn't had anything in it for the
No,
last three
they
races, I don't
have
think.
not even been like, they haven't even been knocking on the door of Q2 or Q3, let alone getting through to Q3.
Nope.
So I guess we can talk about a myriad of reasons why. I think they also kind of had this European slump last year, from what I remember. But at
Mm,
that point, Esteban or Ollie was starting to overtake Esteban in this sort of inner teammate battle, whatever we want to call it. So maybe Silverstone will reveal something more. Maybe because I know what happened, what I think is going to happen with a couple of the other teams. I can't remember if it was Aston Martin or like somebody else, but they were saving their upgrades for Silverstone because that's like their home race.
mm.
Maybe they're going to bring some upgrades that'll help put back in some performance and hopefully get them back to where they were um, at the beginning of the year. But yeah, at the moment,
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the V carb. Now, speaking of V carb, that did remind me of one piece of news that it's more Red Bull shenanigans. And
I did hear this.
every single
Yes.
time I start liking Red Bull at least a little bit, something happens that pisses me off and completely puts me off of them again. And that
Yeah.
is the rumor that Big Bomaclat from Formula 2, Nicolas Solov, was
Oh, that's who it is.
yeah,
I have not known who you've been on about this entire time, and I've just been too scared to say anything.
that's Big Bomaclat.
Right, got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So Big Bumbleclot supposedly has a guaranteed Formula One seat next year.
Mm,
Now, what that could possibly mean, and the most likely thing that's going to happen, is supposedly, also, I should say, this is all rumors, nothing has been confirmed yet, but we
yep.
did hear about the shenanigans with Arvid as a rumor at first. So, taking those things, putting them in the back of our minds, not necessarily throwing them out.
Hmm.
But supposedly, the person who's going to lose their seat is unfortunately Liam Lawson, which I
Yeah.
think is this is getting into more just of like the politics of the sport. One of the things that has upset me about the way that Red Bull is operated, and we also have to take into account that Red Bull has passed hands. It's in a very
Mm,
different leadership spot than where it was last year. Because remember,
yes.
Christian Horner didn't get fired until after Silverstone. I think the Wednesday after Silverstone is when he got
Mm,
fired. So and then we also have to take into account Helmut Marko, which is his shenanigans was part of the reasons why Arvid got his F1 seat.
yeah.
But essentially what's going to happen is Liam is going to lose his seat. And my point that I was trying to make before I got sidetracked is that Liam has had such a tumultuous Formula 1 career. I mean, he stepped
Yeah.
in 2022, 2023, and then officially took over 2024 when Daniel Ricciardo retired, whether of its own volition. I don't honestly I wasn't there, but I can probably like fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Um and then last year getting upgraded to oh wait, he also did that podcast where he talked about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was about to bring that
Yes.
up. Once you'd finished your point, I was going to bring it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he got thrown into Red Bull, like the official main team last year.
Yep.
What we as the public didn't necessarily know is that his car had experimental setups for
His
both.
last race before he was booted back to VCarb, his car was used to experiment setups, and they didn't tell him that it was that performance was what his career, the rest of his career in Red Bull was going to be based on. So when he didn't do well because it was a random experimental setup that he had no idea what was going on, he got booted back to VCarb, and then it was painted as him not being able to handle the car or keep up with Max. He said
I
that in the latest podcast that he's done, and when I
mhm.
read that, I was just like, this is ridiculous.
And that's part of the reason why Red Bull irks me so much.
Mm,
Like it has always been known in Formula 1 that Red Bull is a pressure cooker, but how they put on the pressure pisses me off. I think that how Red Bull has been run as an organization since 2021, 2022, after Max won his first world championship, has completely altered expectations for the sport. And I think we talked last time about expectations for VCarb as like a sister team slash junior
Mm,
team slash is it going to get bought out? Is somebody else going to take it over? One of the reasons why how they run it so much pisses me off is because they have such a great opportunity. And like Red Bull is I keep interrupting myself, but we talked about this last week, but Red Bull has always been very strong about bringing up young talent and giving
yep.
people a chance. Like they sponsor every sport that you can think of in the book, they have someone
Yep.
sponsored there because they want them to do well and they want them to fit the Red Bull brand.
Yeah.
But with this sort of talent churn that they've gotten themselves into ever since 2022, 2023, into 24 when Daniel Ricciardo got hurt and then Liam popped in and then did the whole business with Daniel or not Kvyat, well theoretically Kvyat but also Nick DeVries. Like they've just
Mm.
started getting into this churn that honestly they have written themselves into a corner in a way. And they aren't essentially setting out their mission for what they're trying to do, if you know what I mean. And the way that Liam Lawson is probably the person who has been affected the most by it, and the fact that he's probably going to lose his seat if this rumor is indeed true, is just, I don't want to say it's not fair because nothing in life is fair, but it's not holding to the sort of standards that Red Bull has set up for itself. And again, let's be clear, they've not been holding themselves to these standards since the whole V-Carb, Toro Rosso, Alpha Tauri seat churn has started going on.
I think that problem is they're trying to make another Max Verstappen, and when they don't get because when he leaves, there will be no Max Verstappen. There is no other Max Verstappen. You
He is
can't just
taking
get another man who is that insane,
mm-mm.
who won his debut race for Red Bull Racing in Spain in 2016. That is an enigma of a man, and that is a
He
talent you can't just engineer. So their problem with the whole second team talent pool that they just create is that they're trying to create another Max Verstappen because when he leaves, they will then lose their top player. They will lose the reason they have four drivers' championships.
exactly. Max Verstappen is lightning in a bottle. There
Yes.
never was a driver like him. There never will be a driver like him. He
No.
is the epitome of his generation. I'm giving myself chills. Ooh. Um, he is the epitome of his generation, as
Hmm.
Lewis Hamilton is the epitome of his generation
Yes.
of racers. Um, another one of the reasons why why Red Bull cannot make the Max Verstappen is because they're not giving anybody the chance to be Max
That's the other thing,
Verstappen.
is they're giving these drivers like a season or less to prove themselves in the main Red Bull car, which is still engineered to Max, who has a very, very specific driving style. And I think the only person on the grid who has a driving style that would maybe match him in the same car is Charles. They're never going to be teammates. I would love for them to be teammates. That would be fantastic, but they won't be. But Charles has the closest driving style to Max, which is why when they're battling on track, it's great. But trying to giving a new driver, as in like rookie to the team driver, less than a year, less than a season or a season to prove themselves, and then when they can't keep up to Max Verstappen of all drivers on the grid, which no one can keep up to Max Verstappen, except the seven-time world champion. But he's a seven-time world champion. That's the reason he can keep up with him. You're just creating this whirlwind of drivers who you're making them think they're not worthy because they can't keep up with this lion on track because he's such a specific driver. He's such an enigma of a man, as I said, that when you force them into this team, well, I say force, when you bring them into this team and then force them out because they don't do well, and then you're not giving them the chance to flourish because Liam has flourished in VCarb. When he's
Hmm.
had a car that works for him, he has done really, really well. He's been so consistent. I think he has scored in almost every race. He scored points
Well,
in
I
almost every
think the
race.
ones that he has not scored in has been the ones where he has not finished, or like he's
Yeah,
had car problems the entire weekend.
yeah. So when you give these drivers the proper chance and you're not expecting them to match up to a man who cannot be matched, they do so much better, which is why it's so unfair on Liam especially because he has had the shortest stick given to him possible.
Of anybody on
Um,
the grid, I'm pretty
of
sure.
anybody on the grid. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a single other driver that's had as difficult a Formula One career as he has in terms of team
The
switching,
tumultuous.
yeah, the uncertaintiness of
Yeah.
it, which I don't know is English, but the uncertainty of his career is by far the worst of anyone on the grid, or at least current grid, because obviously the rest
Hmm.
of the Red Bull drivers is whatever. But
Yeah.
so yeah, they are digging themselves a hole trying to find the next Max Verstappen when they should really just be nurturing the talent that they have, because the talent that they have is good. It's just not Max. Because no one is
Because
Max except
because
for Max.
no one will ever be Max. And no one was
No.
ever Max before him.
Literally.
Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen because he has been literally bred in a lab to be
Yes.
a single seater Formula One driver.
Yeah. It's so yeah, I have no idea how true those rumors are. There's also rumors that Rafa Kamara could
Oh
get
yeah.
the
Oh, the
Haas
Haas
seat.
rumors. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Because
Yuki, let's not forget.
yeah, Honda want Yuki in the Haas seat. Ferrari want Rafa in the Haas seat. Um, everyone wants everyone in the Haas seat so that they can use it as a Ferrari are kind of using Haas as a
It's
breeder
kind of
team.
it's
It's
kind of like what happened with Williams and Mercedes, you know?
mm, yeah, it's that kind
Yeah.
of unofficial sister
Unif
team that
Unofficial like incubator.
yeah. So there's so many rumors surrounding F2 and F1 at the moment, like that step up. But again, none of this is confirmed. We will find out, I guess, maybe silly season, which I think the only silly in silly season will be Formula One. Well, not the will be midfield. And I
Yeah.
think possibly Haas
Hmm.
because
Because
I
as
don't
of
see the top teams
no,
being
as of this
weird with it.
point, if Lewis's performance has not been as good as it has, I think he would have been done. I think he would have retired either at the end of this season or next season, and Ollie would be in that seat.
Yep,
However, because Lewis has, won a Grand Prix for Ferrari and has
yep,
scored within the top 4 or 5 in the last 3 Grand Prix, his seat is pretty much like
yeah,
he's probably going to be on the grid next year.
yeah. I
Unless
don't
it
see
all
him.
goes unless it all goes horribly wrong and he decides to
We'll
throw
see.
in
That's
the towel.
possible
That's true. We
because
are
the
only a
race that
third
happened today. Oh
we
my
are
God.
a third into the season, and it is a
Yep.
very, very long season. I still can't believe we're only 8 races into the
I
season.
know we
I
have
know
like 12 left.
Lewis is probably going to be in that seat next year.
Hmm.
Ollie is probably going to stay in Haas next year.
Yeah.
My girlfriend loves Esteban, but
I also love
unfortunately,
Esteban, but if anyone
it's
leaves Haas, it's going to be him.
it's going to be his seat on the chopping block,
Yep.
which I think after his career being he is a pretty solid driver. Like there's a
Yeah.
reason he was brought up in the Mercedes Junior Academy. There's a reason that he was able to get a seat back with Alpine after all the drama.
Hmm.
But it would be such a shame to see him go because
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoken about his ability as a driver is that when his car is there, he's been pretty consistent. Like when he was in Alpine, when they were very solidly like top of the midfield, he was scoring points. I mean, he won with
Yeah.
Alpine
You won with
because he
them.
was up at that point when the was it Brazil? No, Brazil he got second. Hungary, because I
Hungary.
think yeah,
That was his win.
when that all kind of like came out. Uh, it would just be very, very sad to see him go.
It would be.
But I do miss Yuki on the grid, unfortunately. And I know our friend of the pod Cam does too. But
Yes, he does.
I I guess we should probably get back to talking about the
Yeah,
actual
the actual
race.
Austrian Grand Prix.
Um,
I'm
but
just I'm gonna do a top 10. I'm gonna do a top 10 qualifying and then I'm gonna do a top 10 race because stuff happened. So George Russell got pole, and then it was Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Antonelli, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Isaac Hadjar, Liam Lawson, and Arvid Lindblad in 10th. And then you get to the race result, which tells a very different picture. Um, George Russell won. Yippee, he's back. First win since Australia this year, which is
yippee!
just insane. And then it was Max Verstappen, which huge. And then Kimi Antonelli, Oscar Piastri, which huge. Lewis Hamilton from third, ended fifth. Isaac Hadjar, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc from second, ended eighth. Liam Lawson, Arvid Lindblad. Those two, I think, are the only two. And possibly, I've already forgotten who I said in qualifying.
I think it was that
I
exact
think
top
it was
10,
just
just in a
those two.
different
It was the
order.
top 10. It was just the only two who stayed in their qualifying positions was Liam Lawson and Arvid Lindblad. Um, yeah, so much happened. The track temp was about 60 degrees Celsius,
That's crazy.
which, yeah, 10 whole degrees hotter than Barcelona.
I'm gonna do some
Um,
quick maths right now.
yeah, and I think air temp was about
140 degrees
oh,
Fahrenheit for
yeah.
the fellow Americans in the chat.
Yeah, that was track temp because air temp was about 40 degrees.
Oh,
I
God.
think. Very, very, very hot race. Um, people pitted, I actually think less than Barcelona,
Oh, yeah.
oddly enough.
Some people managed to two stop. I was also surprised
Cough,
that,
Mercedes, cough.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
also surprised that the tire drag was not as bad as Barcelona, and it was the softest tires that Pirelli could possibly have brought. So I don't know what
It
was in the
wasn't
air.
it wasn't as bad unless you were driving a Ferrari car, because that car decided to just eat tires today. I think it took about 6 laps for Charles' hard compound tires
That's
to
crazy.
be basically useless. 6 laps. So
Jeez.
yeah,
Also, speaking of Ferrari pit strategy, why did they put Lewis on softs in the middle of that race? When I saw that, like, look, I'm not a Tifosi. I
I
have my
don't
issue.
know.
But in the race, I literally yelled out, why'd they put him on softs? Because genuinely, why the heck did they put him on softs? When he was
I
fighting
don't
for track
know.
position.
I don't know. I don't know. And Charles got overtaken about 6 times
That was
by the
really
same
sexy.
people. Okay,
Unfortunately,
I will admit, they were really good overtakes.
they were really good. At that hairpin, when Oscar overtook both Lewis and Charles, I'm sorry, I was giggling and kicking my
I'm
feet.
mad at him for that though, because he did give Charles wing damage. But
Yeah, but
it
it
was a
was a
good
good
overtake.
overtake.
It was a good overtake, but I was like, damn it, now he just has a broken wing for the rest of the race. Which I
Yeah.
forgot. I had a tweet in my drafts and I forgot to post it. Because I was going to say if I had a nickel for every time Charles has driven a race with front wing damage, with no end plate, I would have 3 nickels. Because he's done it 3 times. Um, but yeah, for some reason, the Ferrari decided to just blow up in terms of workability. There was just no power, there was no pace. It ate tires. It just they had to cool it down multiple times.
hmm They had to switch engine modes to cool it down, which is
Yeah, they
crazy.
had to go to Mode TS and to cool it down. Yeah, it was not good if you were Ferrari or a Ferrari fan. Um, However, there were some very good overtakes, and I did really, really, really enjoy watching Lewis and Max fighting on track again.
Yes,
That was
that was
great.
delicious. That was
That was
very good.
very, very good. McLaren had a better race. Well,
They
Oscar had a
did.
better race.
He did.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Oh, I would love to talk about that. Thank you very much. So, once again, I did not watch qualifying yesterday.
hmm Oh, we didn't mention the elephant in the room with qualifying.
Wait, they did qualify 6-7,
They
which
did.
was very, very funny.
Multiple people made that joke on my timeline.
But speaking of the elephant in the room, Max Verstappen fueling the washed allegations. I'm not actually fueling them. It's just funny to say. He absolutely bins it into the wall in the final sector of what would have been a pole lap. He was a good couple tenths quicker
Mhm.
than I think it was Kimmy's official lap um that was on the board.
He was doing very well.
He was doing really well. I think he was purple in either both or one of the sectors that he had
Yeah.
set previously.
And then his
But
rear wing didn't close, so he had a
I
lot
do
less downforce.
I do have evidence to the contrary that his wing was fully
Really?
closed. Yeah, I don't know if it was just
Then what
like
were Red Bull looking at?
I have no idea, but it was mystifying because that I think is
Mm.
not a very difficult corner to get traction at because it's kind of like a long
It's
right
high speed.
left-handers.
It's like
Yeah,
it's full out. It's full
which
on.
is very strange why
Mm.
he lost control of the car and hit the wall. But the most interesting thing in qualifying was not Max Verstappen hitting the wall, it was what happened afterwards.
Yep.
So George was on a flying lap.
Yep.
He was either close to Max or within the general vicinity of Max
hmm
when the yellow was thrown. And that yellow means that only that sector is affected. So he was, I think, either entering that sector or pretty like far into the sector. And the rule when you're on a qualifying lap or in a race or whatever is that when there's a yellow, I must say, a single yellow thrown,
Yes.
you are
Single yellow.
required to lift off the throttle.
hmm
He lifted off the throttle
Yep.
and he crossed the finish line before a double yellow was thrown, which means that everybody has to slow down and expect either a safety car or a red flag.
hmm
He passed the he crossed over the finish line before the double yellow was thrown. People thought his lap or yeah, his lap got deleted because you can't well, not when you don't lift off, then not only do you get a yellow flag infringement, but your lap gets deleted.
Yeah.
But because they looked at the cameras, they looked at the onboards, they looked at like the general they looked at sector timings. They also looked at the telemetry. And because in the rules it says that you have to noticeably lift off the throttle when you're in yellow flag conditions.
hmm
Again, single yellow flag, not double yellow flag.
hmm
You have to visibly, like notably lift off from the throttle and they check your telemetry. George lifted off.
Oh, he
He
did. He
was,
lost like a 2/10, 10.5.
yeah.
He
But
lost time.
the thing that is craziest about it is that he was on pole by 3 tenths.
I know.
Can you imagine how fast that lap had to be
Yes,
so that
because
he was on pole and he lost like 2 or 3 tenths from lifting off?
I watched the ghost car video that F1 do after like for every pole
hmm
lap they do first and second the differences or like
hmm
teammate differences. Um and it was obviously because got P2 in qualifying, it was between him and George. And the straight line speed on that Mercedes is ridiculous. He
It's
was in the
crazy.
distance every straight.
hmm
So I'm not surprised that he got pole from that lap. Obviously, it was a ridiculous margin, even with lifting off the yellows. My
hmm
issue with it, which is why I was rather mad yesterday until I like got obviously all the information, was it was a single yellow for what
hmm
should have been a double yellow.
Yeah, that's I think the general
Because
consensus.
yeah, because it was a high speed corner. There was a man actively in the wall, still in his car, and obviously there were marshals around. It
hmm
should have been a double yellow flag waved. Kimi, who was also on a push lap, aborted his lap because his dash had said double yellows. He'd thought it was a double yellow. Bono had also said yellow, yellow. So he'd aborted his lap because he was in front of George,
Hmm.
weirdly enough. Um, Max crashed. Kimi aborted his lap. George didn't because he'd seen on the pole on like the digital flags that it was a single yellow.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the difference between the single yellow and the double yellow on those poles is
It's like
ridiculously
flashing.
there is a minimal difference, which I think they should make it a bit more obvious. But
Hmm.
anyway, so George knew that it was a single, so obviously only lifted off. And then the second he saw that the green flag ahead of him, after he turned the corner, he hit the throttle again because he didn't see Max in the wall. So he didn't actually know that it was like a crash. He thought someone
Hmm.
had just spun out and it was a yellow, as he'd said to Anthony Davidson when they did the Skypad afterwards. But yeah, my issue with it is race control and the
Yeah.
stewards deciding that for some reason it was a yellow, a single
And not a
yellow,
double yellow.
when it should have been a double yellow immediately because then they did the double yellow when the medical car was there.
Hmm.
But it's a high speed corner. It's blind because obviously George didn't see that Max was in the wall.
Hmm.
So like it's blind in that sense. Obviously not actually a blind corner, but it should have been a double yellow
Yeah.
immediately. And I'm not saying that because I wanted Charles Leclerc on pole. I cheered really hard when he went pole, but I'm saying this in the sense of that was a safety hazard
Yeah.
for the rest of the drivers because what if someone had also lost it and had also gone into Max and then both of them could have been injured
Yeah.
severely? Like that's my issue with it. Like yeah, I'll accept that he had a ridiculous margin to be able to lift off and still get pole by
Hmm.
2/10. Um, but yeah, he shouldn't have been able to keep that lap because it should have been a double yellows immediately.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for whatever reason. And then Max made a joke about it in the race. Did you see that?
I did not, I don't think.
There was um double yellows 'cause obviously we had numerous safety like virtual safety cars. So one of them was double yellows and he was like, so that means flat out right past the car. I'm joking.
Mm.
And everyone was like, oh my God, you messy. I love him.
Verstappen, the Verstappen beef just never stops, and it's very,
It's
very
so
funny.
funny. But yeah, so that was the elephant in the room in qualifying.
Yeah. And
Um,
then Kimmy was mad because nobody told him that it was not a yellow, so he was mad at Toto and Bono.
well, I'd be
But
mad if my race engineer said yellow, 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 and then it wasn't a double yellow.
that's true.
But I think
Another
the
thing.
thing they
Mhm.
had, it was a double yellow, then it was a single yellow, then it was a double yellow again. So I think it actually was a double yellow when
Oh.
Kimmy went through, and then they changed it back, and then
Oh.
changed to single, and then changed it back to double. So everyone else is like, well, why did you do that?
Mm.
Um, so I don't really
I
know what happened with that because obviously I'm not race
Yeah.
control. I don't control the flags, but
What? What do you mean?
yeah. Sorry guys, that
Um,
was my bad.
but another thing is that people are getting mad at George for following the rules.
Yeah, that I don't
Like,
understand because he didn't actually break any
and
rules.
also during the race today, there was a VSC called because Alex Albon hit a cone thing. You guys call them bollards. I will
Yeah,
not
it's
be
a
doing that.
bollard because it's not a
A
cone, it's a
pole.
pole, but it's like a floppy pole.
I just think of those things as poles, but anyway,
It's a bollard.
I'll take your word for it, British person. There was a pole that Alex Albon hit and it fell onto the track, and a marshal had to go retrieve it.
Yeah.
Shocking. A virtual safety car that is called to remove hazards on the track
hmm
was called when a marshal removed a hazard on the track. Crazy how that works. And
Mm.
all of those freaking like motorsport news pages and people are getting mad, being like, why is there a BSC call? This doesn't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. I don't
No,
know,
because you
man.
they
Read the
need
rule
there is a
book.
marshal running across the track to pick up a piece of debris. If it's a yellow, Cars don't slow down enough. So if there was any cars near that Marshall,
Do
that
we
could have ended
not
badly.
do we not remember what happened at Mexico City with Liam Lawson and that Marshall? He genuinely, I'm not saying this to be facetious, he genuinely almost killed that man. That man was lucky to escape with his life.
Yeah.
It's just people don't know wheel. Or they have these. I think this weekend has really demonstrated how insane the double standards are because I
Mm.
know if that happened, if not to say, not to get into if, but if the shoe were on the if the shoe were on the other foot and George had crashed and Max had lifted noticeably, but then gotten back on the throttle, then all the fanboys would be like, oh, he's gaming the rules. That's why he's the GOAT, blah, blah, blah. And then George does it, and everyone's mad at him. Like, I'm sorry, you guys are hypocrites.
Yeah, no. A lot of sports fans are just crazy hypocrites. I will accept that I am also a hypocrite. I have done hypocritical things in the past for
Real,
this. Like, I have
real.
said hypocritical things, and I have admitted in those moments I am a hypocrite, but
Yeah. But people, I think my issue with it is that people were like genuinely upset about it.
yeah, I
And like
know.
people were genuinely mad about it when again,
I will hold my hand
whatever.
up and say I was genuinely mad about it when it first happened. And then I saw everything that came out afterwards, and I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It's fine. That is,
Mhm.
he didn't break any rules. I'm mad at the race control for
Yeah.
doing the wrong hazard thing, but
Yeah.
that's on them, not George. Also, I love George
Hmm.
anyway. So I was mad in the moment, though. I was kind of seething. Um,
Yes.
because I saw Ferrari 1 2, and then it was not Ferrari 1 2. So,
Oof.
yeah,
Well, back to the McLarens.
that
So
sandwich of the
that
two
was
of them
scary.
with
I saw
Kimmy.
someone I saw someone tweet that if they were Kimmy, they would have crapped their pants.
Yeah, I would
Because
have.
when I think it was like the first couple of turns, he had gone off. He
He went
somewhere.
off 3 times in two
Yeah,
laps.
it was crazy. Which we need to talk about his track limits game.
Well,
Anyway,
he's great at it.
but he was they were getting up to, I think, like the hairpin.
Hmm.
Kimmy's in the middle. Lando is on the inside of him. Oscar's on the outside. If I were him, I would also have crapped my pants. Because these two, not afraid to make contact. I.e.
No.
Singapore last year.
Yup.
I.e. Coda Sprint. I.e. Brazil Sprint. Well, no. Brazil Sprint. Wait, yeah, Brazil Sprint. Until Oscar
Canada.
freaking crashed out of it. Canada! Well, that was mostly on Lando, I will
Well, yeah,
say.
but still, it's like still the point of
Yeah,
they make
yeah, yeah.
contact.
If I were in the middle of that sandwich, I would hope I would get squeezed out when someone bit into it.
Yeah, I love when teammates go hunting, though.
It's
I love when
so
they look like
delicious.
predators on track when they are going for people. It is
Rare.
it's so good. So watching that shot, I was genuinely like, this is the best thing I have ever seen. And also the drone shot of
The
it.
drone shots were so fun and funky fresh. I thought they were
Yeah.
a really good addition because I will say some of the shots were a little bit iffy
Hmm.
where they were kind of like in the corner of the screen because the drone was turning and you couldn't really see
Yeah.
anything. But when the drone footage was good, it was great. I felt like I
Yeah.
was right there alongside with them.
Hmm.
But going back to the McLaren thing,
Yes.
Oscar
Sorry.
did overtake Lando on
Hmm.
pure pace, which was
Hmm.
like injecting it straight into my veins. And then they, Charles, Lewis, and Oscar had a really good battle on track.
Yes.
Oscar going up against a seven-time world champion and getting passed on pure pace. My heart is fluttering thinking about it. It is so unbelievably sexy of him. This race was so good to me, which is good
Hmm.
because the last couple of races have just been woeful.
Yeah.
And I know people will say, "Oh, Lando's car was having issues all weekend." Blah, blah, blah. I acknowledge that.
Hmm.
However, I still think that's really sexy of him.
Yeah.
And also, to be more official, it's very telling of his skills as a driver that he can go into a wheel-to-wheel battle with two Ferraris who are arguably faster than the McLarens, like notably faster in telemetry and
Mm.
race pace in corners, and still squeeze by squeeze by both of them, mostly unscathed, and with the seven-time world champion.
No.
Try not to
That
get.
was it was a very, very good overtake. I will admit that. I did really see this is a problem. I love when cars go racing. However, the issue was that most of the racing was against my driver, and he
Ain't
didn't
that
win.
ain't that just the way,
So
unfortunately.
I genuinely did really enjoy this race because a lot happened and there was great wheel to wheel and like just so much was just great. But the problem was that Charles did in fact lose 6 places.
That's really funny. I'm sorry.
It's
I
fine.
one
He
thing,
had a better qualifying.
yeah,
He's getting back in the groove of things.
yeah.
He finished the race. I'm taking the win. He finished the race.
One thing I will say about Charles, his race was very good compared to the last two.
Mm, mhm.
Um, what else was I gonna say? And then another thing about Charles or Charles Chuck, what do I call him?
Charlie.
Charlie. I like Chuck. I like calling him Chuck. Good old Chucky boy has when he's been good this season, he's been good. However,
Yep.
when he's been la bum, he's kind of been la bum. Just like
Yeah, he kind of
just
just has all or nothing
just
races.
like Oscar was kind of the woat at the start of this season. In his defense as well for that first DNS, I will also say there has been a point of hypocrisy yet again that I've pointed out. I remember when people were ragging on Oscar for not being able to get to the grid
Yeah,
because there was a spike of power that he was
yeah.
not expecting. That, I mean, how could he have accounted for it? There was no way for
He
him to
didn't
have
know it was
expected
coming.
it. And Charles fans were defending him the same way after qualifying for Barcelona when the same thing happened to him.
Mm.
But what happened to Charles, it was something he couldn't control. So sometimes, and I know this is very apparent, and you're only as good as your last race, whatever. But again, the hypocrisy in the sport pisses me off and it
Yeah.
has to stop.
I just kind of wish people were more accepting that they are hypocrites. Like
Instead
you're
of trying to
allowed
be
to be
like,
a hypocrite. You're allowed to
you
dog
have
on
to
drivers that
acknowledge it, which I
you
have done
have
the
to,
same thing.
yeah. Like you have to acknowledge that you are a hypocrite. You're allowed to be a hypocrite. You just have to admit that you are a hypocrite. Because I've done that. And
Yeah.
I will admit I've done that. Because I enjoy doing it. Because it's fun
Yeah.
sometimes. But I
Sometimes
will
it's fun
not
to be delusional.
just, yeah, exactly. But I'll not just lie.
Yeah.
Like, that's my issue with it. Like, be a hypocrite all you want, but just don't try and pretend you're not. Because
Yeah.
it's very obvious when you are.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
On that note, to close it out, I think it was very sexy in his abilities as a driver for what Oscar did today.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was very good.
P4, and now he's P4 in the championship. I was celebrating when that graphic came up when it said it was kind of like the same graphics that they did at the end of last season where they were like if blank wins, if he wins, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
it was with George Lewis. I don't think Charles was on there, but Oscar was
No, because he's
moving
now
up.
sixth. It was Kimi, George, Lewis, Oscar. It said that if they finished the race where they were at that moment in the race, it would be that order. So
It was
George is
so,
now second again in the
yeah.
standings. Lewis is third again. Oscar
Oscar,
leapfrogged both Lando and Charles,
who are level on points.
who are level on points, but Lando's ahead of him because
He
he won it.
finished on the
He
podium.
finished ahead of,
Yeah.
well, no, he finished this race ahead of
Mm,
Charles.
hmm.
So that's why they are the way they are. So
Yeah.
Charles is now sixth in the standings, which does hurt me a little bit.
I
But
was also very worried because there was a steward document that
oh
was posted at
yes.
the end of the race for Oscar driving quote unquote unnecessarily slowly
Yeah.
during the formation lap. Or was it the formation lap?
I
Or
was kind of confused because it said safety car, but then it was also
yeah,
formation. At one point, either formation lap or safety car, he was driving
unnecessarily
or
slowly. But then
reconnaissance lap.
it was one of those two.
One of
But
those,
then
yeah.
it was so I was like shaking and a shivering in my boots, to be
Mm,
honest with you. But everything worked out, and we didn't have to worry about
yeah.
it because I ignored it.
Yeah.
We're P4 now. Feels so good.
I'm happy for him. And you.
Oh, thanks. I know
Yeah.
my goat.
Yeah, that's fair. Mine is not doing too great right now. But
Yeah.
it's fine. He'll be back. He always
Hmm.
does.
So, just to sum up this race, a lot happened. Well, a lot happened. Not as much as I was expecting to happen happened, but a lot happened. But it
hmm
was still a good race. It was a very good, like, racecraft race. Not necessarily tire strategy, but
Yeah. The
racecraft.
tires kind of just decided to not work. One thing did happen. Three cars set on fire. Both
Three separate
Cadillacs. You
ones.
could bet money on a Cadillac setting on fire and you'd win. Um, However, the third car was in fact Liam Lawson, who did in fact finish ninth. So I heard that radio and then nothing happened. And
Yeah.
I thought I genuinely thought I'd hallucinated that message.
And then the second radio came up.
Yeah, and then it happened again, and then nothing happened. So like either his car was just slightly on fire for the whole race, or he managed to cool it down because they did nothing about it, I don't think.
And he
And he
finished
finished in
ninth.
ninth. So I guess if you
Crazy.
want a fireproof car, just
Get a V carb.
get a V carb. Um, so yeah, and
Another
then
another thing that happened is Carlos Sainz DNF'd, and when they played the onboard from when he DNF'd, that Williams made a sound I have never ever heard before in my 23,
the
almost
Williams
24 years of living.
the Williams really enjoys making weird sounds.
It sounded like a drill, like what you'd use to put screws in the wall with. It was bizarre. I've never
Yeah.
heard another sound like it.
No, so then he just stopped on track, which was the first virtual safety car. And
Hmm.
then did Stroll DNF?
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah, he
it
did.
was two Cadillacs, Lance Stroll, and Carlos. So you
Lance
were
Stroll
spot on.
hasn't finished. Oh, I was!
Yeah, you were spot on.
Huge. The rest of my predictions weren't, so I'll take it.
Actually, you did get, well, speaking of our predictions,
Oh wait, no,
I,
yeah, I did. I got
yeah,
Max.
yes, you did. I got
Yeah.
George Pole right. We were both very wrong about the podium. So you did, I think you did Max Pole. I did George Pole.
Yeah.
You did third place George.
No,
I
I
did
did
third
third place
place.
Lewis, second place Max, first place Charles because I wanted a repeat of 2022. So I got
Well,
Max.
you did, and that was very impressive.
And I think I also cursed Ferrari again. I need to stop. I need to stop.
I did George Pole, um, Oscar third. Who was it? George second, Lando first.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, not
I don't
quite.
want to
I
talk
was
about how that
a
went.
little bit closer than you.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Um, but you were pretty close in double DS, or no, you were spot on in double DSQ, which was pretty impressive because I thought there were going to be a lot more retirements because it was going to be so hot.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
Oh,
pretty hot.
wait.
I will say,
Hmm.
Lance hasn't finished a race this season.
He is not?
Nope. He hasn't finished a race. He's DNF'd every race.
That's incredibly funny, unfortunately.
Right?
Just Aston Martin is just so.
It feels like a psyop.
It really,
It
really
feels like a fake
does.
team. So does the Cadillac, to be fair. Why are they just a
Yeah.
fire hazard? Those poor brakes. What are they doing to them? So, next race is the British Grand Prix, my home race. that I'm going to, and I'm very, very excited and also kind of terrified. Um, I've got five drivers that can win this race that I will cheer for. If not a single one of them wins, I will cry. Um, but we are doing our predictions for said British Grand Prix. Um, I'll do mine first. So I've got George Russell on pole. I'm hoping he can continue this streak. And then I have a full Brit podium. I was gonna be delusional, but I'm not being that delusional. I'm being a little bit delusional, but it's fine. Um, I've got Lewis Hamilton for P3, Lando Norris for P2, and George Russell for P1, which is basically the same three that were on the Barcelona podium. But my other two options are Oliver Behrman and Arvid Lindblad, and as much as I would love either one of those on the podium, I don't think that will happen unless it rains, and it's like 29 degrees and sunny currently
I
predicted.
really,
So
really hope it rains.
I really want it to rain. I have never wanted it to rain in England more. Especially after this heat wave that we had for the last couple of days. Oh my God, I
Mhm.
was dying trying to unpack my uni flat. So, that is my prediction for the British Grand Prix. What are yours?
It's so funny that you say that because I was going to do literally almost the exact same thing. I had in my brain, in my noggin, George on pole, and
Hmm.
then because I need Silverstone redemption from last year, I'm still pissed off about that, by the way. I need Oscar in third, Lando second, George first. I need George to win his home race
Yes.
so badly, especially after what happened, what was it, 23, 24, when he was in the lead and had to retire.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. I need redemption
Yeah.
for that. Um, you know what? Why don't I swap Oscar and Lando just to get more Silverstone redemption? Because
Alright.
I'm still mad about that.
So
About
Lando
a
P3, Oscar P2.
Yes, I
Fair.
am mad about a variety of things of that situation. But alas,
Yes.
what could have been?
Yeah. And then the last predictions segment is our double DNF, which is how many people we think aren't going to finish the race. I have five written down.
I'm gonna go big or go home again and say seven.
Okay.
That feels like a good number. And if it's
Yeah.
gonna be that hot, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
It's
I said
gonna
that about
be.
this weekend, so
Yeah, you
I don't know.
did. I
I'm
don't know.
going for the drama, guys.
We
That's
like
the plan.
drama.
I do. I
Yeah.
am a very dramatic person. I love it.
I am very excited for Silverstone. I'm gonna be so broke.
For
And
context, Robin is in fact going to Silverstone.
yeah, it is literally my home race. It's half an hour away. Like I don't think you can, unless obviously you live in Silverstone, the village. Can't really get closer than that.
I do want to think about how much those houses cost.
I mean, probably not that much.
That's
I
true.
don't know. I might look at that after this. I'm curious now. But yeah. So, race rewind.
Now it's time for Race Rewind, which I have finally watched my race.
Finally watched it.
I have notes. I took extensive notes because this
Yeah.
was a really good race. So my race for this
Yeah,
Race
me too.
Rewind was 2006 Brazil. It was Sao Paulo, it was Interlagos, but
Hmm.
the reason why it was such a good race, it was the last race of the 2006 season. It's a
Yeah.
title fight. It was the title fight between Fernando and Michael Schumacher. And what I did not realize was that this was going to be, at the time, Michael Schumacher's final Formula One race of his entire career. So he was going into his very last race as a Formula One driver in a title fight, second after a DNF in the race before, which I think was
Oh my
Japan.
God. Yeah.
For young Fernando is so beautiful.
Hmm.
Um,
He really
something
is.
this was a big race of lasts. So, for context, and this is I think kind of what happened. 2005, the year before, was the catastrophic IMS, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, US Grand Prix, where
Mm,
the Michelin tires exploded within like a lap or two. So that's the race where, of course, I'm sure everyone has heard about it, where all of the cars that were on Michelin tires did the formation lap and then immediately went to the pits to retire, and six cars started the United States Grand Prix that year. And Michael Schumacher won it, obviously. But
yeah.
the tire suppliers were Bridgestone and Michelin. This was
Hmm.
Michelin's last race before pulling out as one of the official tire providers for
Yeah.
Formula One. And unfortunately, Dude Bros are right because the sound of those cars so they just they evoke something deep in your soul.
Mm,
And it just gives me chills. Like just thinking about it gives me chills.
yeah.
Um Another, well, there's a lot of lasts in this race, as I said before. Another one of the big lasts is Cosworth was pulling out, and Cosworth was one of the longest running constructors since 1967, so only a couple of years
Wow.
after McLaren. Um, this is when they had the really, really weird points allocation where only the top eight cars get points. So Fernando had
Yes.
126 points. Michael Schumacher had 116 because, again, I think Fernando won the last race and Michael Schumacher DNF'd because of an engine failure.
Right.
The elevation change, I think this is before they paved over and fixed the Interlagos track, but the elevation change at turn one, it was literally like rolling hills. It was wild. Um, this was also Mark Webber's last race at Williams before he went to Red Bull. This
Oh,
was um who else was it? This was Pedro de la Rosa's last year at McLaren before they were speculating about Lewis Hamilton, the winner of GP2, taking over his seat. And one of the things that's really fun about watching these races is that you get to hear about all of like this gossip and the
yeah.
rumors and the history of these historical like career trajectory changing moves from the perspective of it's happening right now. And
Yeah.
like listening to that back and thinking, wow, Lewis Hamilton might not have gotten his drive in 2000. Like he might have not have gotten his seat in 2007 and he would not be the seven-time world champion that he is now. It's crazy to think about.
Yep.
Mark Webber and Nico crashed at turn one. Nico had a suspension failure and absolutely gunned it into the tire walls at the start finish straight because he
Eesh.
had a suspension failure from the crash with Mark Webber. It took Mark Webber's rear wing off and also damaged his rear suspension, so he had to retire, and Nico obviously had to retire. Um, Nico running across the track would not happen today. He literally like jumped out of his car and ran across the track to the pit lane. It was kind of crazy.
Oh my
Um,
God.
this is of course a race with V8 engines
Hmm.
because it was 2006. There was a certain part of the track that had just recently been repaved, and there were concerns about the track breaking up. Wonder what race that sounds like. Um, so Michael Schumacher, he was going really well. One thing I also forgot to mention, Fernando qualified fourth. Michael qualified 10th because of, I forget if it
Oh,
was a gearbox or an engine malfunction during qualifying.
right.
But he was up in like sixth, fifth, fourth place, like really making his way back. But
Yeah.
there was debris from the crash that Nico Rosberg did that
Hmm.
gave him a rear puncture. So he was tumbling down the order. And at this point, I believe five cars had retired. So this was the Toyotas were out, both BMWs were out, or no, yeah, both BMWs were out, and someone else was out that I can't remember off the top of my head. So he was like basically in last place. He was 17th or 18th, but effectively it was last place.
Hmm.
So he had to go get his rear tires changed and then come back out. So he fought his way back up. This is kind of spoiling the ending. He fought his way back up to fourth place after almost over 70 laps of trying to claw back places
Yeah.
after tumbling down to 18th, which honestly is like almost Max Verstappen level drive.
Yeah,
Also, on his very last race in Formula One, which is,
that's
or at
crazy.
the time, which is crazy.
What a way to go
Um,
out.
yeah.
Hmm.
Something that goes back to my point about hearing all of these historical moves and hearing all these future world champions, their names getting mentioned, is that Martin Brundle was talking about the promising newcomer Sebastian Vettel to the Sauber team, which is just crazy. I also can't believe that Scott Speed is a real person that
Yep,
drove for Toro Rosso. I
yep,
cannot believe that. But hearing, like, seeing him drive and like seeing him on the screen, that's only when it registered for me.
yeah.
I was curious about this because I've seen a lot of complaints about how, oh, the engines of today are nearly as fast as the engines of, the engines of yore and complaining about how slow the cars are these days. Well,
Yeah.
according to my calculations and Wikipedia, the fastest lap of the race in 2006 was a 1:12:162 by Michael Schumacher. He was just putting in fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. It was crazy. The fastest lap ever at the track, courtesy of the F1 app, is in 2018. It was a 1:10:540 by Valtteri Bottas.
Hmm.
And then last year's Grand Prix was the Grand Prix where Lando almost got his first slam, but his first Grand Slam, but he did not because Alex Albon had the fastest lap of 1:12:400. So Michael Schumacher's fastest lap in 2006 was a 1:12:162. Alex Albon's fast lap last year was 1:12:400. So that's about, I want to say, 2.5 tenths faster than Michael Schumacher's fastest lap, or supposed final fastest lap ever in his career. For context, I was just curious and I went down a rabbit hole. But
Yeah.
I wanted to put that into perspective of the different engines of
Yeah.
today and yesteryear. Another interesting thing that happened at this Grand Prix. Also, the Grand Prix itself was very entertaining. There was a lot of
Hmm.
overtaking. There was a lot of tire strategy because Michael Schumacher was also like offset from the general tire strategy.
Yeah.
And they were still refueling. They still had like the big lollipop. So they did have slower pit stops.
I love the big
Um,
lollipop.
but this was Felipe Massa's second, and he was driving for Ferrari at the time. This was Felipe
Hmm.
Massa's second ever Formula One win, and he was the first Brazilian since Ayrton Senna in '93 to win Brazil. And I wanted to point this fact out because it was just very funny in the face of how we think of him today. Fernando, because he finished ahead of Michael Schumacher, he won the championship. He got up to second, but
Yeah.
Felipe Massa still won.
Yeah.
Jenson Button was P3, if you were curious. Fernando was this is gonna make you laugh, the youngest person ever to win back-to-back titles, a record that he stole from Michael Schumacher, which I think is very funny in terms of how we think of him today. They were gonna try and get Michael Schumacher on the podium, but they just didn't let him for some reason, which I think is really dumb, and I don't know why they wouldn't want him on the podium.
I think they should have just put him on there.
I agree. I think he should have climbed up himself because what are they gonna do? They can't fire him.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was interesting about the podium was that I guess in context it does make sense when you think about the Pirelli hats today, but the different tire suppliers had different hats. Like Felipe Massa had a Bridgestone hat because Bridgestone was
Yeah.
Ferrari's tire supplier, but Fernando and Jenson Button had Michelin hats because
Because,
Michelin was the supplier uh of Renault and Honda, which I
yeah.
think I don't know why I didn't think about that, but I think that was really interesting. And Felipe Massa did not have a special livery on his Ferrari, but he did have like Brazil covered fireproofs where he had his fire suit that was like green with yellow, and there was like the blue globe from the flag on one of his arms. It was awesome.
That sounds amazing.
It was a very, very good race to watch. And
Hmm.
I really do have to take advantage of some of these older races because there's some really great ones in there. And I'm glad that I was given this one and I finally was able to watch it because it was
Yeah.
very genuinely a very good race.
That is exactly how I feel for my one because
Ooh.
The wheel keeps wanting to give me like great Seb Vettel races,
Ooh,
which I'm all here for because I love Seb. Especially having watched these old races, I think he and Nico Rosberg is like my favorite of the old like extra tire drivers, and
yeah.
then Seb is very, very, very close second. So I'm very much enjoying these races that I'm being giving, but mine was the 2009 Chinese Grand Prix.
Ooh,
So not the title decider for
yeah.
Jensen, but it was still a very good race. It was 2.5 hours long because it was pissing it down with rain.
Ooh,
I rained the entire time,
damn.
and Seb was on pole. This is this is great.
Interesting.
One thing that was very, very interesting to me was they showed the start weights of the cars
Oh,
with the fuel and everything in it.
that is pretty
So you could
interesting.
see their kind of like strategy with how much fuel they had for
Yeah.
laps. That was really interesting. And then I
Hmm.
think, because obviously when you see that, they were talking about, it started behind the safety car because it was raining so much
Yeah.
and
Oh
it
my
did not
goodness.
stop raining. It rained the
Wow.
entire time. But they were talking about Fernando's race because he only had a certain amount of laps, but he had less fuel than everybody else.
Mm.
Because I think I don't remember where he started, but he was close to the front. So yeah, I started behind the safety car. One thing that did annoy me is the old races, they count down.
Yes, I brought that up too. It's so
Yeah,
annoying.
I don't like it because I have to do maths. I don't
Yeah.
like having to do that. It's easy for like, no, I don't like it because when you're trying to figure out what lap something happened on and you're just like trying to
Yeah.
do the counting while it's still going on, I don't like it. I'm very glad they count up now. Makes it a lot
Hmm.
easier. Um, I will say, I could not hear anything the commentators were saying over the sound of those cars. They were,
Really?
yeah, whoever mixed that race did not do it well because the cars were it was great. I love the sound of the cars, but I would also like to be able to hear what Martin Brundle is saying when
Yeah.
I'm watching the race. I could not hear anything. It was so loud. Um, and yeah, lap 8 was the start of the race
Oh
officially.
my God, really?
That was when the safety car went in. So lap 8 was
Wow.
like lap 1, basically. Um, Ferrari engine struggles, fork found in kitchen. There was, because obviously it was raining, there was standing water in the entrance to the final corner. And on one lap, three people went wide, one after the other.
Oh my
They were
goodness.
like, you go wide, you go wide, you go wide. It was really funny to watch, actually, because it kept cutting back to the corner of people just going off. And they were trying to keep up with it, and it was just like, this is ridiculous. Um, there was so much spray from the water that when someone was overtaking, you couldn't actually see who was in front until they got past the corner
Oh
because you just
wow.
couldn't see the cars through the water that was coming up from behind them. It was ridiculously wet. Um, I love obviously when they point out the drivers for like their for the garages when they're boxing, now they have the signs that just have the arrows on them or whatever.
Hmm.
The Red Bull mechanic that did it for Seb was fully leaning out, so he was like holding on to the pit wall railing and was just leaning out like this and what like was the sign of being like go here. It was yeah, diva. It was great.
That's
I
crazy.
know. I was like it doesn't feel safe, but obviously the cars are so far below them anyway.
Mm,
It still kind of is, but I was like I'm so used to the signs. I never really thought about the fact that
yeah.
it's now signs and not people. But no, it was just fully the Red Bull mechanic. It was great. Um Speaking of breaking rear suspension and taking off an entire rear wing. Kubica did that to Truly's car. Like he basically
Ooh.
rode the back of Truly's car, and like just the rear wing came
I think I
off.
know the crash you're talking
Obviously,
about.
it
Wow.
was insane. He just went straight into the back of him and just like did that basically,
Wow.
and just took the rear wing off and broke the suspension. So yeah, that was a lot. there was a safety car on like lap 18-ish. Felipe Massa stopped from third with Ferrari, and then his engine cut out.
Ooh.
It was not a good Ferrari race. But that's not the point of this story. And then it was not even half different distance. We were on like lap 22 or something, and Lewis Hamilton had passed Kimi Raikkonen 3 times already. They were yo-yoing like crazy. They kept taking each other
Wow.
out because one of them would overtake and then go wide because there was so much water, and then the
Mm,
other one would go back through, and then they would just keep doing that. There was at least 6 overtakes between them across the
wow.
whole race. Was crazy. The Renault livery was very nice to look at. Um,
Was it the blue and yellow?
I think so.
Oh, I love
It
that
it was
livery.
such a nice livery. Um, Mark Webber's dad was in the garage, and every time the camera cut to him, he looked really, really shocked. It was really funny. So that was fun. Lap 50 or 56, Sutil crashed, and his front wing and both front wheels just came off.
That's what that crash was? Oh,
His front wing came up. I think he hit something or someone, and then he was going into the gravel, and then the wheels just came off. It 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 was really funny. This race was ridiculous. Um, that was no safety car. There was only double yellows to
mm,
remove the to recover the car, which did kind of baffle me because they were very close. It was.
yeah.
I did think that should have been a safety car, but
I've
obviously
said it before
old
and I'll
rules,
say it
whatever.
again. Old races really are the wild, wild west because
Oh,
you
they
have like
are.
9 people DNFing and then stuff like that happening, which would never, ever happen today. And I guess I do have to commend the FIA and race directors and all the marshals for really developing that sort of safety
Yeah,
SOP procedures, whatever you want to call it, because I mean, also a large part of like recovery and things like that happened because of what happened to Jules Bianchi at
mm,
Suzuka. But it's crazy to see how far we've come whenever we watch
yeah,
these old races.
yeah. The safety has improved like crazy, even with like on the cars as well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I will also say, remember how I said Sebastian Vettel was on pole for this race? He did 2 flying laps total in qualifying. He almost didn't make it
What?
through. He had car issues in qualifying. So Q2, he did 1 flying lap. Q3, he did 1 flying lap. Got pole.
Holy
Goated
crap.
behavior. When they said that stat, I was like, what? What do you mean?
No. Early Sebastian Vettel is like a child demon.
Yeah.
He was on something in his early
Hmm.
days.
And speaking of, he won the race. It was
Oh, he
his
did.
first, he won the race. Mark came second. It was Red Bull 1-2.
Oh, I'm shocked.
So it was his
Sorry.
first race with Red Bull. It was Red Bull's first ever Grand Prix win. This was
Really?
their first Grand Prix win. And it was a 1-2 for Red Bull.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
Oh
will
my
say,
God.
hearing the British anthem for Red Bull Racing was really
Isn't it
jarring.
so shocking?
Because I was expecting the Austrian one because I'd forgotten they'd started as a British team. But yeah, hearing the British national anthem for Red Bull Racing on the podium was weird.
And no Netherlands anthem too.
No, because it was German for Seb.
So strange.
Yeah. So yeah, it was crazy race, crazy Seb race. Again, this wheel really, really likes to give me Seb Vettel masterclass races, which are great. I will take more of them. I love Seb. But yeah, it was very, very enjoyable. Should we get on new ones?
Let's do it. And I'll
All right.
actually watch them this time.
Yeah. I forgot how big this was. Okay. We are getting yours
Okay,
first, if it would like to stop.
I'm gonna take down my notes.
2014 Abu Dhabi.
Ooh, interesting. I believe
Nice,
that
nice.
was oh, whose was it? That was Lewis's first title with Mercedes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. I don't remember when
Yes.
his first one was.
It was
Um,
2014, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20,
oh,
and then
yes, yes,
21.
yes, yes. So interesting. Okay, I
Ooh,
have 2005 Japanese Grand Prix.
interesting. I don't
Very,
actually know what
very.
happened.
I don't
Wait,
either.
I think I know what race that is. I think. Wait,
I
I'm not gonna
don't.
say it.
Yeah, don't. I
Okay,
don't know what
I'm
this
not gonna
race
say
is.
it.
Okay,
If you know,
I'm
you know.
excited. Okay, I'm excited for that one.
I think we both got
That's
really good races.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm gonna have to. Actually, I don't know when I watch one. It'll either be before or after Silverstone, but we'll see.
Mm. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Double DSQ today. You can find us on all social medias at the Double DSQ. You can send us an email at the Double DSQ pod if you wanted to ask our opinions on anything.
At
Because that's
gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Yes, thank you. Um, because we're very opinionated people, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for listening again, and we will see you at the racetrack.